Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Just Talking About Sports. I'm Matthew.
I'm Luca.
And Luca, what are we going to be doing today?
Talking about sports.
There we go. Our man Ethan is on vacation right now in sweet old Colorado, so we are doing this video. Yes, you heard me for once actually not say talking about sports, but that is what we're doing today, here to discuss the MLB and how the Cubs and the White Sox began their opening series. We may get into the Marlins part here towards the end of what's going on with the outbreak on their team. Let's get right into it. I'll start with the White Sox side of things. I'm extremely disappointed with what I've seen so far. Heading into the season, we expected Giolito to lead our team, at least in our rotation-wise, for the White Sox, and he failed hard. I think the pressure caught up to him very quickly. The rust of a longer offseason than usual probably didn't get a hand on really a good pitching offseason, considering he's probably been with his family and everything. So I give him that bit of an excuse, but it is definitely concerning to see the way he played game one. Our bats have been just okay so far. We still have rust in our batting. Abreu's doing okay. Jimenez is doing okay. Anderson's been playing pretty well, but there's a lot of there's nobody standing out right now on the White Sox. So far, 1-2, and we're a little iffy. We got a doubleheader today, starting here in about half an hour, give or take. Hopefully we get a couple games in here. We need to start getting wins. But it's definitely concerning. The way we're playing right now is not exactly the way I would have hoped to see things go. But the Cubs, on the other hand, they're playing really well, aren't they?
Yeah, and before we get to the Cubs, I want to address some of your comments about the White Sox. And I obviously did an earlier take than you guys on the MLB when our predictions and all. It's exactly what I expected. They have a lack of pitching depth in both their starting rotation and their bullpen, and then they have the bats. In order for the White Sox to be a very successful team, if they have the lack of pitching they have right now, they better hope they score 10 to 12 runs a game. That's just how it's going to have to be. But like you said with Lucas Giolito, I'm extremely disappointed. He was an elite pitcher. He was an elite pitcher last year, with the exception of against the Cubs because he stunk. But he allowed 7 runs, six hits, and 3 walks before being pulled out of the 4th inning with 2 outs going into the 4th inning. So that was really disappointing to see. But I got to say, the one spot that I saw that I was very impressed is your prized rookie in Luis Robert. He's going to be something special. I got to tell you that. Game 1, he singled and doubled in that game, and I think he hit a home run in that series too. So I was very impressed with that. Yoan Moncada and Eloy Menace, they have definitely shown flashes of dominance and what they could do with the bats. You got James McCann and Yasmani Grandal, great catching behind the backstop. And another thing that I really like to see in that pitching staff, actually a very bright spot, I got to say, is Dallas Keuchel. He still has life left in him, and he can still be an elite pitcher with the Sox signed over the winter. So I was very impressed by that. But obviously, people were very, very concerned about the Sox against the Minnesota Twins. But yet again, the Twins will remain a hurdle for the White Sox throughout the season. The Twins scored at least 10 runs in 6 of the 19 games against the Sox last year, and they just hit 7 home runs in this series. So it's not like the Twins are some scrub team. They're a very good team, but the Sox just got to get that starting rotation into place, and I think they'll be all right.
The big problem with the Sox is we go back-to-back series. We started the season with back-to-back series against the Twins and Indians. Not exactly the kind of competition you want to go off against in the beginning. Indians are not as good this year as they have been in recent years, but they're still they're towards the middle. I want to get a little further into Keuchel real quick. 5.1 innings, 3 hits. He only allowed 3 hits, 2 earned runs. Did only get 1 strikeout, but consistency is what matters. If you are able to stop the hits and you're able to keep the runs at bay, that's promising. To see him play well, the only win we got was off his excellent pitching. I need to see more from our bullpen, though, because we're not doing a great job holding the bag behind our pitchers.
Yeah. Speaking of bullpen, let's go to the north side and talk about the Cubs. So I guess I'll start with this since I'm the Cubs fan, you're the Sox fan. But first things first, Kyle Hendricks did a phenomenal job in opening day by pitching that complete game. He utilized all of his off-speed pitches, such as his changeup and sinker, to keep the Brewers off balance. He was showing off an improved curveball. He struck out 9, walks none in his first career opening day start and 4th career shutout. I was very impressed what he had to do. He kept Christian Yelich and Keston Herrera, Lorenzo Cain off balance, so very impressive. Ian Happ is actually showing flashes of excellence as he homered twice in that series, and he used the lever of his glove by robbing Keston Herrera of center field of extra bases. But I got to say I'm going to give you one con right now, and that is Yu Darvish. Yu Darvish has to have more self-confidence in himself. He has to just stop worrying about so much. He needs to use his electric stuff to get batters out. That second half of last season, we need that version of Darvish. He's earning a lot of money. He has a lot of our cap. He needs to be performing like he did with the Texas Rangers back in the day. And the last thing I would say is shaky of this Cubs team, like you said with the White Sox, it is the Cubs bullpen. It is really disturbing right now. You got James Norwood. You got Dwayne Underwood Jr. You got Dylan Maples. These are guys that are inexperienced. They have a lack of control of their pitches, and they need to get better as soon as possible. Now, our first-year manager in David Rossi, he needs to find these relievers quickly using Jeremy Jeffress, Rowan Wick, Kyle Ryan, Rex Brothers, and ultimately getting the ball to Craig Kimbrell, who has been showing a little rust so far. The Cubs definitely got to find these types of pitchers to be closing out games. But one last thing before I give it to you, Matt, is Wilson Contreras. Not only has he improved his framing behind the plate, he is locked in when he's batting. He looks extremely comfortable. So hopefully Contreras can continue his success behind the plate as well.
And I have Contreras and Hendricks on my fantasy team. But I'm going to go over here to Mr. Lester. I want to talk about this guy.
Yes.
And I put the blame here with Rossi. You had a no-hitter for 5 innings and you take him out. What are you doing? What are you doing? That you can't do that. When you have a guy who's on fire like that, you wonder why you were up. What was it? 8-1, right? Something like that.
7-0 and then 8-1. Yes.
They were kicking some serious ass. They should have kept him in there. They had a no-hitter bid going through 5, and they took him out, and they almost lost the game. This is where you need to realize that, yes, although you want to keep your guys healthy and going and strong throughout the entire season, you got to keep Lester in there for that situation. That is the thing where you have to learn. You got to keep the guys in for the right amount of time and don't take them out before it's too early, like what they did with Lester. They got to work out those kinks. It's part of the new season. You're 20th of the way through. What is it, like a 20th or the 15th of the way through? You're one series through, and a lot left to go. Cubs look good right now. We'll see how they play through the rest of this season, but they're looking good so far. Their pitchers, not their bullpen, but their starting lineup of pitchers looks really good so far.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, going back to that point with the starting pitching, let me go back to John Lester for a second. I got to give props to John Lester. He's an old guy, and he's probably been one of the best signings that Theo Epstein made so far as his job as general manager. He's been lights out so far. Having John Lester pitch for 5 innings, I was shocked he even made it to 5. Lester's getting up there. He's not that elite pitcher anymore. But to have the consistency he displayed yesterday against Cincinnati, I will take that. But the one guy I do want to talk about, because he's had trouble throughout his tenure in Chicago so far, is Tyler Chatwood. Okay, I've never, ever expressed optimism with this guy, but after what I saw after Game 1, he was impressive. He basically showed the confidence to throw any pitch in any count, just like Kyle Hendricks. If Chatwood's pitches continue to stay around the plate, the Cubs can definitely feel much better about their starting rotation. He was able to keep guys in Keston Herrera, Lorenzo Cain, Christian Yelich off balance, and they went for a combined 0 for 12 in that game, so I'm very impressed. But I can tell you one thing, how the Cubs can continue their success this year. The best way to neutralize a shaky bullpen is a good starter and a lot of offense. And that was mission accomplished that first series against the Brewers. And when you win series like this against divisional rivals, this gets you in the playoffs in this shortened season. Take it from me. I said it right here.
And I want to piggyback off that real quick. When you look at where the Cubs stand specifically in the Central, there's no competition. They should easily walk through this division without a problem. And what we've seen so far, we've seen 4 pitchers for the Cubs, 3 really good performances. You normally don't see that in a team. I mean, you've got really good consistency right now. I'm not banking on Chatwood to keep going the way he's going, but it's promising to see the way he started. He's never been cemented in their rotation because he'll go in the bullpen every once in a while too. And part of me thinks the Cubs need that almost in their bullpen, is to bring a weapon like Chatwood as possibly a closer of some sort of situation. I've always thought that. I just don't know if Rossi's going to do that. I think that would be interesting to see if they do that. What's your thought on that?
So I personally think that Chatwood, as long as he is dominating like the way he did against the Brewers, I think he should stay in the starting rotation. But yet again, one start does not basically summarize yourself as, oh, you're going to stay here. This is great. No. Tyler Chatwood, I would give him maybe 2 more starts, and then we will see what Tyler Chatwood is made out of. If he happens to struggle, he will go back to the bullpen. And I can definitely see Tyler Chatwood closing out some games, especially what we saw from Craig Kimbrell the other night. It was disturbing to see 4 batters walked and almost blowing the game. So I personally think he can close a game, but I don't think that's the first alternative that Rossi will go to. I think Rowan Wick will be the first option to go to if Kimbrell struggles, and then maybe Jeremy Jeffress. But that's it. I don't think Chatwood's going to be the first option to go to. But let me tell you this before we close this out. Jose Quintana will be coming back soon. I have never been a huge fan of Jose Quintana. He's inconsistent when it comes to pitching. One day he pitches 7 innings and shutout ball. The next day he's pitching 3 innings and letting 6 runs. So I'm worried about him too. He can also be an option for the bullpen if Alec Mills, who's our number 5 starter, is consistent.
Is Quintana going to end up starting when he comes back, or is he going to be in the bullpen?
It depends how Alec Mills is performing. I'm most likely, but like I said, he could be coming back in there. But I personally think Quintana should maybe start in the bullpen, be one of those long relievers like we had in Mike Montgomery not too long ago.
Okay. I'm going to make one more statement on my White Sox here. I think the one big thing we need right now is, to pray to God that Eloy Jimenez's injury to his head is not serious, because losing a piece like him at this point really would be a problem. Definitely. That's number 1. And number 2, we need Giolito to bounce back. Mm-hmm. He's not the only problem we have right now. I get that. But you can't have your number 1 pitcher going out like that to start the season. We need a bounce back. And if we don't that's when you really start to question how the White Sox pitchers will be able to handle themselves through this shortened season.
Yeah, I got to add to that. So you guys have 2 elite pitchers as well. Carlos Rodon missed last season due to Tommy John surgery, I believe. And then you have an elite pitcher in Dylan Cease. So those 2 definitely are very good pitchers. They should definitely not have to pitch to the level of Lucas Giolito and Ronaldo Lopez. But if they do, it's going to be very tough, considering that Lucas Giolito is that elite pitcher that should be here. And then you got Ronaldo Lopez. He should be somewhere in the higher tier as well. And then Rodon and Cease build their way up. I hope that's not the case this year, that Ronaldo Lopez, he's starting to regress against. Because last year he was not 100% great, but he was showing.
And he started so bad this year too.
Yeah,
that was one of the worst ways you can start a season.
Mm-hmm. So hopefully your White Sox improve, because I know they got potential in them. They just have to show us. That's all.
Yeah, they do. And, I think the one thing that we're always going to wonder about the White Sox is, we know they can build a team. Can they actually play the ball? Mm-hmm. And we've really wondered that now for a while. And I hope and pray that they play well enough to make something happen this season. But I have my doubts after what I've seen so far.
Yeah, yet again, we've only been through 1 series. But like I said, it's not a marathon this series. It's a sprint. So we will see which teams are the best. So whether it's a team that's developing, they happen to have a great stretch, or if it's a team that was supposed to make it and they just couldn't get it done in 60 games. So let's see what happens, guys.
All right, thank you, everybody, for watching this episode of Just Talking About Sports. Be sure to like and subscribe. If you have any questions or comments below, be sure to drop them down there. All right, have a good day, everybody. Peace.